Hi. Now we will see how a database bot is getting built in Tenjin Online. So in the registration process we would have seen we would have registered database using a host, and we have seen it using a URL kind of connection as well. So you have two ways to register an DB application. So once the application is registered, that application will be mapped here, and both application can be used for the similar works. So to start with, as a simple check whether the particular application is mapped to the project the agent is running and the agent is registered in your account. So once this basic check is done, let us start with bot building. So for that I'll be going on to this automation module, and this is the place where I'll be building that DB bot. So for that I'll click on create new bot. I'll be like database bot, and I'll be giving the application as database demo. So the description is optional again. There is an app reset option, and there is two options, that is stop if action fail and continue if action fail. So as the name suggests, stop if any of the place fails, the whole execution will be stopped then and there. Continue if action fail, though one or two places fails, it will continue to give the execution result. So implicit wait time is a global wait time that will be added with every action. So once we click on create, what happens is the DB bot builder will be opening. So this is the bot builder page where we'll be able to build the bot by segment by segment. So we have two ways. One is bot builder, that is we will be building it like segment by segment, or we can write the whole query if the person knows more about SQL. So here what I am doing is I will be writing a query. So this picture represents how we will be able to write it. So as the start we will be mentioning select, and I have a table in my DB. I have connected that, so I'll be using that table here. So the column name is sequence number, comma uname, or uname in smalls. So this what we are going to do, we are selecting these tables from the table called AUT underscore API underscore fields. So this is the basic query that I'm gonna use. So I'll just click on get columns. So the columns is fetched from that particular database or the table, that is AUT API fields. So get column is so useful whenever you are going to fill the segment, it will be based only on this one. So you don't need to write every time the column name, rather than like a drop down you'll be able to choose it. So let me show how it is done. So get column, once you click that, column details and columns will be captured from the DB, and the result set limit is nothing but if you have thousands and thousands of data, how many records that needs to be displayed is this result set. So I'll be having 100 records that should be displayed from the result. So if it is less than 100, only that amount of set will be the set will be displayed. So once that is been written, next comes the where condition. So in where condition, what I am doing is I am going for a where condition where sequence number should be greater than or equal to, and what is the sequence number type is number, and I want to give a number here. So as you can see here in drop down, that the column name comes once you give the get column. So this is how get column will be useful, where you don't need to keep on entering sequence number or uname everywhere. So this is one thing. So where I want to get the sequence numbers greater or equal to the number 10. So once that is done, I want to add one more rule where I'll be clicking on add rule, and whether you want to go for an AND or an OR, that can also be chosen. I want it to be an AND, and I want to choose the uname, that is I want to know whether it has the data that is starting from a variable. So it is a default which is in string, and I want to know whether it starts from the letter called F, and I don't want to know what it has been gonna continue. I want to verify only the data that is starting with F. So once that is done, you can save. So every segment that you are entering, once that is done, save it. So that is done. So next comes the order by. So I want to order it by the column name called sequence number, and in what order I want it to be, in ascending or in descending. So I'll be having it in ascending order. So it starts from the first set. So once you select it, the selected conditions will be chosen for the execution. So unselected won't be chosen for execution. So make sure it is selected whatever query or whatever condition that you have given. And in group by, what I am thinking is I want to add a group by condition where I want to group both sequence as well as I want to group the uname. So I want to have both the groups here, and I will have a save. So segment by segment, once you give something or enter something or edit something, save it then and there. So after that, I want to check having clause with the sequence number, again giving the same condition like sequence number greater than 10. So this is what I want to check. So once this is also written, I can save it. So as you can see, with the help of get column, you will be able to see how much it has made the work of filling these place so time efficient. So make sure that you are getting this columns so that it will be easier for you to fill this place. So once the builder is ready, what you can do is you can start giving them the validations for those outputs that we are gonna get. So in builder, in database query builder or DB bot builder phase, there is two phases. One is query builder, the next one is define test on the result set. So the query builder is the place where we will be building the query. Define test response on the result set where we will be defining or validating the response that we are gonna get based on the query that we have built. So here there are three segments, that is column test, aggregation test, and metadata test. Column test is nothing but you are gonna test the topmost column or topmost record of that particular result, whether what kind of data it is. You will be validating that particular data in that particular record. Aggregation test is nothing but you will be aggregating it. So for example, if I add more, I'll be choosing this. So the aggregation will be either sum, maximum, minimum, average, or count. So we will be performing some kind of calculation in the column data, and that will be tested here. So for example, I want to check what is the count of the total number of data that is there in the sequence number, and I can capture it. If I know the data of that particular count, I can equal it and then check with the data number that I provide. Not equals, I can give, so I can give it as not equals 10. So what is the thing is, so sequence number records count should not be equal to 10. So in this way, you will be able to check the number of records with this one. So the column test is nothing but the data of the first record will be validated. The aggregation test is nothing but the data of the column will be validated. Aggregation test is nothing but the total or the aggregation of that particular records, number of records of that particular column will be validated. Metadata test is nothing but the characteristics of that particular column will be validated. For example, I can check whether this particular column having what kind of column type. So I can mention that this is a string. So if it is not a string, then this validation will throw me an error or a failure. So if it is a number, then it will be pass. So in this way, you can verify the characteristics of the column in metadata test. So this is the just a validation of the database that we are getting. So for column test, what I am doing is I am checking whether the sequence number, the data type we are mentioning it as number, and testing that whether it is equals to 10. So the first record will be taken and it has been matched, and it will check whether it is equal to 10. So this will throw me and pass or fail. And in aggregation test, what I am doing is, as I have filled already, I am checking whether the sequence number count is not equal to 10. So the records is not equal to 10. In metadata, I am checking whether the sequence number column type is a string. So if it is not a string, then it will fail. If it is a string, this will pass. So what we will do is we will save all the changes here and we will go and execute this bot and check. In the same way, we will be able to parameterize these data and we can execute also. So rather than giving a direct hard-coded data, what I am doing is I am parameterizing this column as seq call test. So the data that I give here will going for the column test of sequence number. So I will be just saving it and I'll be mentioning the data here. So in this way, you'll be able to parameterize these data and you'll be able to use it in a larger scale as well. So if you want to put a lot of data into this data set, then you'll be able to export it as an Excel sheet, and in that particular Excel sheet, you'll be able to import it as well. So as you can see, I have exported an Excel sheet, and in that particular Excel sheet, you'll be able to import it. So it's just see. So the parameters will be there, so you can just give a data like data set 1 and I'll be giving a data as 20. So I'll be just saving it and I will re-upload it back so that that particular data will be available back in this place. So I'll just go up, go for the downloads, select the CSV, proceed. So here we'll be able to see the added test data. So in this way, you'll be able to change the data sets as well. So once the bot is built, you can save it, you can add the data sets if needed, then you'll be able to execute it and check. So for execution, I'm clicking on run test bot, I'm giving my agent and I am choosing the data set and I am executing it. So here what I will do, it will take a few seconds, like 2-3 seconds for it to give the output. So I'll just refresh it. So as you can see, this has failed. So to check whether how failures work, you'll be able to see all the validations that you have done. So we are checking whether the first row content of the sequence number is equal to 10, which is a pass. So the tick mark is here. And the sequence number count we are checking. So there are 10,000 and 10,446 rows. So it is not equal to 10, that was the condition, and it is a pass. And here we are checking the properties of that particular column and we checked the column type. So we expected it to be a string, but it was a number. So this one was a fail. So due to which the whole bot failed. So to do the change, I'll come back to this build, I'll scroll down. So you can come back to the build page, and here what I will do is where I am going for the define test response, and here what I am doing, I am changing the data as number. So here let me save it and execute it again. So now you will be able to see the whole status as a pass, and you will be able to see how many seconds it took and what are all the validations it did. So here now it has become a pass. You will be able to see the runtime values if there are any runtime values, the executed query. So we did the query builder, but in the end it will be showing as a whole query like this, and this will be the resultant set for those particular query. So in this way you will be able to build the bot and you will be able to execute it as well. Thank you.